Hello, comrades, and welcome back to a Saturday summary at the Neuve Reverkrad. Here we are making some progress. We've got a good number of our houses built down here so that we can. The reason for this is we are going to make an inner loop all the way around here and hopefully, just get a few more people. There's people that live here that may or may not be able to get around to stores quite so easily. So this will give them a way to get from one train station to another. So I'm hoping if we have like a rush of people, they could decide to get on another train maybe and head down to here. Not sure how well that'll work out. And in addition, these houses are going to be here so that we can fire up our television stations and TV stations. So there'll be 6 of those, and there's 6 of these different categories. So we should be able to mix and match, and or just assign one to each one and see what positive effects I hope it has. Now, I've done a good amount over time to try to look and see why people might be escaping. It was always my understanding that they would escape if their happiness dropped too low. So these people aren't terribly happy over in this area, but I don't think they're so unhappy, and they generally speaking have stuff. So I'm not 100% sure why they're leaving. Now, it could be because we don't have the pubs, but pubs have an awful negative effect. I'm not sure if that's changed in the months since I've done this, but I really went around and I'm really struggling to see why they're escaping. Though I did get a suggestion a while ago. We have 2,500 plus, well, almost 2,600 plus 21s. And I'm wondering if that's not the reason we're getting escapes. When I did spread out my plus 21s, it went down a lot. So at some point, not today, I am going to move people, but it will probably also be like when I need them over here, because that's a lot of people we're going to want to move in the not too distant future. So over here is Bricksville, and we will talk about new naming of it and whatnot at some point. Like if nothing else, yeah, probably could. I don't know what'll happen. Here, let me come here. We can rename it now. Why not, right? So I'm just going to call this Bricksville 2 for a second because I think I should put the name of Bricksville a little closer over here. So let's go to this name, create an area. Probably would cover the whole thing, right? Are we? Yeah, that's more or less the middle. And we'll rename this Bricksville, right? And so I guess up here what I would do is probably say, I'm almost going to put it like out over here just so it doesn't end up naming too much outside of this exact area. And we can name this POW, Bricksville POW. Okay, I'll go with it. All right, and then we'll just delete this one. And then there's coal mines too. That's probably not the greatest name, but then I don't understand this reference exactly, but Radomir had asked if I could rename this area, and yes, and let's see if the name fits. We have to have fairly short names apparently, but we'll call it Monte Corba. And I definitely, apparently, and I don't understand the reference, this is because somehow this is related to coal miners. And I do have a lot of respect for the miners of the world, not just coal miners. It's a dirty and dangerous job that those people do. And for that reason, I think a hammer and a sickle, even though I know it's a Soviet symbol, seems like maybe like a worker symbol, right? Let's spin this guy around and kind of make sure he's a little bit straight to the road. So in addition, we will have a monument by the name Monte Corba there. And this will be our monument to the miners of the world. So thank you guys and girls for pulling all those minerals and things out of the earth for us. It's often a very dangerous, dirty job that shortens your lifespan. And those guys do deserve our respect and thanks. So there you go. If you know any miners, That'll be our monument to the miners. So, what have we been doing? Well, certainly since the last Saturday summary, we have designed a whole import. So let me describe it as like very briefly. So we have a town with several different segments. We have different train stations dotted around here that will pull people out through these various lines. So a couple of these lines are just going to bring workers, like this up here. Let's go into these passenger stations. And then we'll have a couple other passenger stations coming around this way. In addition to that, we have other train loops that are going to come over to here. So the first train loop, in a way of looking at it, we have coal mines up here. The coal mines are going to feed into a series of coal ore into a series of storage facilities there, here, and here. And then these are going to be the coal ore processors. We have 9 of the things, which should be more than enough to keep up with our 6 coal mines that we have up here. I did the math once we got these built. Oh, this one's still not built. I kind of guessed on this one. It's going to be close enough, whatever. But so now that we know the percentages of 5 out of the 6, I could make a pretty good estimate. If these were running at full steam, which would be tough to maintain, we would need 9, really like 8 point something. So we got 9 coal ore processors. Now what they're going to do, and I know this is all a little bit hard to see, but at least we have these yellow things. I guess you could always pause it if you really want to look. But then out of the ore processors, we're going to feed into these two, or this ore storage and this ore storage. And then we have 2 train stations down here. So they're going to load coal into what I call like the coal to power and bricks loop. And that loop's going to come over here and feed coal first and primarily into our power plants, right? And then it's going to loop back around and then drop off any coal it still has to another loop that will feed our bricks. So this is where we only have 2 bricks. Now, one thing I like about this design is if you look, we could put more power plants out this way. We could put more brick making facilities out this way. I don't think it would be too hard. Does that make sense? So in any event, this is kind of like a coal loop here, dropping off coal, and then another loop that brings it over to the bricks. And then when they're done, like let's say they don't drop off all the coal, then they come all the way down to here and drop off it. I'm sorry. Let me make sure I got this straight. Now, they have 2 train stations that they can then drop off at before going back into the coal loop. See that? So we have 2 loading stations, 2 unloading stations. Is this overkill? Probably. But hey. So then once they unload it, it'll go into these 2 storages here. And then we have a coal loop that goes around the map, which I've talked about before. And they'll be able to pick up through 2 stations here. So we can have coal trains that take coal to other places all the way down along this line. The only trains that should really ever be on this line will be coal trains. And those coal trains will feed into our steel thing, which I'm not going to go through how the whole steel thing works, but it's kind of similar. So then this coal loop will actually loop all the way down to here to our other coal power plants, or coal mines and the power plants we have over here. So in other words, we could have the trains going back and forth from all the way over there, all the way over to here, picking up coal if we wanted to. And there shouldn't be any other type of trains other than trains carrying coal on that whole entire distance, dropping it off to the steel mills. Haven't even fired up this coal mine yet, but this is also part of the coal loop. These two stations here. Looks like we had a station burned down. We had another ore processor over here, so yeah, we'll have to get that fixed one of these days. Not too worried about it because we don't even have that fired up, so I'm not sure why. Yeah, we'll have to take a look. We should have fire coverage over here. Oh, we need fire trucks. That certainly is a problem. You know what? I have some right here. Let's get on that one right away. Look, three fire trucks. We're gonna send them all. Well, let's send 2 of them. Oop, that's not a firehouse. Where'd the firehouse go? Over here. Yeah, so I'm not sure what. I can't imagine why I wouldn't have put fire trucks in there. Yeah, that's pretty odd. I don't know what happened with that. But in any event, there we go. We'll have fire trucks over there in a minute, and we'll deal with that. I also had another building burn down that I'm rebuilding, and that was the vehicle storage. For those of you who watched the last episode, you'll know that we now have 3 more construction offices here. Oh, good, we got this. So, by the time I realized I was going to send a vehicle down to here to start, because I had all of these full and I wanted to shuffle vehicles around, and because I couldn't shuffle them, I ended up building this depot as well. So I'll be able to at some point straighten these out so that we have a nice mix of vehicles for doing whatever we want. Like, for example, I don't think I'm going to necessarily need this paver in here. So now, we could send that right away. And do we really need 2 bulldozers? Probably not. But I don't want to worry about that too much during our Saturday summary. But know that we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 construction offices to help get all this stuff done over here. A little bit worried about the supplies, but we seem to be holding up. The bigger issue, these trucks are doing a good job bringing stuff back and forth. The bigger issue actually seems keeping it in here. So we were running low on bricks, and at one point we were running low on everything, but I see we now have prefab panels in here. Yeah, and it's just because we're using like all the prefab panels we can deliver. I don't necessarily want to put more trains on it, but it was slowing down some of our constructions. See, missing prefab panels because he's just using them up. And then there goes our truck right there. So it's some things are not perfect, but I don't want to redo the world just for a construction project. And I want to check on this guy because this is keeping this guy busy is one of my most critical things that I want to do. So he's still working on this, right? I want to make sure this gets worked on because now I have 90% of the buildings done, or 80%, but we need to get that loop finished, and he's got to work his way all the way around, and I can only realistically get 1 train in there, and then it's all got to be electrified, so that's going to be the holdup on getting our inner loop done. And in any event, what I was doing too, I got another 2 cranes in here, so I was assigning them to do this stuff. Doesn't connect. There's a little tiny piece right there. Okay. And then this guy got up to the bridge and thought he was done, but he's not. So I electrified all of this stuff between the last episodes, so we'll get to work on electrifying this track, which means it will be completely done. And this feeds into, this is where we'll take our bricks out of. So we'll move our bricks from the bricks factory by truck to this train depot, this train yard, this large yard, and then the trains can come in here and pick up the bricks, take them wherever we need. And we got to get things like this station done, but this will be, this is a little passenger loop is what this is. We'll get that electrified, and then we have this other loop here that I was just talking about. This is the inner coal loop for the bricks. Gets a little complicated, doesn't it? No, this is just a coal loop for the bricks. I'm sorry, it's not, I don't know what to call it. But in any event, there we go. So we got bricks and small aggregate storage for some extra coal to go to the bricks. And another thing we did, and you can see all this Christmas tree, all these different electrical. So I've planned out the electrical to get spread out throughout the map. If you look, we got all these power lines. And the reason for that is we have these power plants over here, and they're doing a fine job of providing us a lot of power. But as you keep getting more and more of these connections, you can only have like 20 some, I think it is. And so we're starting to have power problems like on this side of things by Revergrad and Old Revergrad, and Energinisk to some extent. So some of those lines, see this one here comes all the way down. Like there's almost nothing attaching this, so there's very few of these nodes, they call them. Every time you get a node, so you may have like multiple nodes in here getting out to where you want to go. So I've some real long runs going over to, we have one going to Energinisk and just various places. And it's also hooking up power to give mega power over to our steel mills. So one of the reasons I'm not in too much of a hurry to build more houses in Neuve Revergrad is because of the power issues of just firing up more steel mill. Now, I see that all of our trains are gone. That's not generally a really good sign, just because there's either a traffic jam or, well, he's still moving. Traffic jam. Now, we stopped exporting some steel, so I don't see anything wrong there. I usually do this, and I'll look for the fact that they're stopped. So he stopped, but he's unloading. So, and the reason I say this isn't the greatest sign is because it means we're probably full up in a lot of places. See, this guy's getting all the way to almost his last stop, and he still has 312. So at one point, I cut off our steel usage so that we could get our steel ramped up. And I think at some point here, I have to reinstitute the export of steel-containing products. But I don't know if I'll do it today. We'll see how long it takes to go around and summarize things. But there we go. So we're making, some progress, and I think it's going well. We got a lot of the roads done, which takes a fair amount of the time. So we don't have them all done, but we're getting a lot of them completed. Now, I see a road comes down here. Why is this one? Aha. That one's not attached. Yeah, so let's do that real quick. All right, I'll delete that. Wonderful. There we go. Yeah, there's always things you miss. So there we go. But that should, and then some of these guys are like auto searching for roads, so I'll know they'll go find them. I've just generally been trying to give them, some different things to do while they were waiting for all these vehicles to get up here. So just kind of coming along and just clicking on things. Now that we know we have a lot of steel, see, we already got all those. And some of these roads weren't done the last time I was here. A lot of stuff. Just a lot of stuff. All right, come up there. Yeah, we could start working on some of those big power lines, I guess, too. Apparently we can. I didn't get an error. So there you go. So I don't want to do too much of that, but I do want to keep people busy while we're running around. Now, this guy is going to be like for building buildings. So we can rename the buildings now, which is great. So I'm assigning him some bigger projects, so he probably won't get quite as many. This one's not attached yet. That is, but it's already assigned. So like I said, I'm trying to give him some of the bigger building projects that are attached. Certainly getting these railroads done, we'll just sort of let that be an easier thing. So there you go. That's probably enough. Is this guy busy? Yeah. Yeah, that guy's searching roads. This guy's searching roads here. And then I've just been making sure my trains stay steady busy. And this is the other one I've kind of been assigning, and I've assigned him a bunch of stuff. He's generally, they're building in Bricksville here. So there we go. So that's, I think a pretty good summary of what's going on near Bricksville and why it's going on. And hopefully you'll be able to see a lot of that stuff, of course, easier once it gets built. So hopefully you hang in with our 200 and some episodes here. So we also have this Plaster City going. And the big holdup in Plaster City, there always seems to be one holdup in a project, is getting this bridge built. It seems like getting this built has been taking forever and a day, but we're getting into these other roads up this way towards our quarries built. So we should have them done at some point. We have another whole quarry set up over here, but that's all, a bunch of this stuff is behind this bridge. I probably could just build a dirt road in there to get things going. I will if they run out of stuff. But right now they still have a lot of projects that they can still reach. So I won't worry about it too much. And then this guy, we have the 3 trains. I bet you these are over there. So I've just been sending this guy in to start electrifying some more tracks. See, we're missing electrification. Up to here. See, they for a while they had it fixed where these guys weren't doubling back, but they seem to be now. So this guy hit this station and stopped. That's what happened here. We'll get him to electrify that little bit. And then there's 2 other construction offices contributing. And we'll just check them real quick. Yeah, plenty on the list. So there we go. So that's Bricksville. Or I'm sorry, that's Plaster City and Petrosk. I guess I should call it. So we're just plugging away. Yeah, and this will be a new... I don't think we'll get rid of the old area, but just so for those of you who don't know, this is going to be where we make some prefab panels, kind of the things that need gravel. And then when we have the coal coming on our coal loop, we'll also pull off of there to drop off some coal, get it stored in here so we can make our prefab panels. And cement doesn't need coal, I don't think, but that needs the iron ore there. So there's a cement silo for our export of that. And then over here, we could export more gravel from over on this side of the map. And yep, this is just our 2 ore processors feeding down into 2 different of the aggregate storages. Just so we have this side would pretty much mostly supply this stuff. And then this ore processing plant should at this point be for export. Now, we can all, oh, excuse me. There should be enough room and space that if we wanted to try to balance this out and connect these 2, we could. Like if we wanted to export more of the ore over this way, I'm sure there's a way we could figure out how to get a conveyor by there one way or the other, even if it's a pretty long one. So there we go. So not much has happened over in AutoGrab, but I did shut off the distribution. So you can see the trains are sitting there. The trucks are just waiting for another car to come out. We're not making any of the other bigger vehicles. I have things backed up. I think we have enough trucks. I could take another look at that, but nothing too exciting happening in an AutoGrad. And as far as Tagliati goes, we're getting close, but this construction office seems to really be struggling. I don't know. For a while there, he wasn't sending anybody out. Like, I don't really understand what's going on here, but it just seems to be broken. And I really honestly don't know why. There's no obvious reason that I have that it's not working on things. So like we should be bringing things out to here. And every time I come over here, it just looks like, see, all of the vehicles are just sitting in there. So I don't really know what's going on with this construction office. If anybody knows, I mean, I don't have any error messages up here. And, oh, you know what it could be? You know what happens if they run out of fuel? Sometimes they get stuck in here. Let's just see. Are any of them out of fuel? Nope. Let's just see if this guess is right. No, you're not out of fuel. Well, you're just a crane. Why is the mixer? No. Bus? No. No, none of them are out of fuel. And I tried to do some, like I tried to restart the game and I canceled all the projects and then I reassigned them. And I mean, the fuel station across the street is in good shape. So I just really don't have any idea why these guys aren't more busy. So if anybody knows, if it's just a bug, then well, I'd like to know what the bug is, I guess, but it's certainly not what I wanted to have happen. So yeah, so we'll see. So because they're not working on this, right? And I could just try to maybe purchase, you know, like, does that help? But I don't want to mess with it too much. Like, what is this road? Electrical components. I mean, is there stuff in this guy that, see, I mean, and then we have electrical components where he would go to get them. So I checked the supplies. Yeah, I don't know. Well, we're just going to move on for now. And it's the kind of thing I would probably save and then mess with because I don't like to purchase too many things like that without being able to go back on the save. But he was working in here fine before. So there's something going on. And I even checked to make sure that, like, if we look at the plastics factory, oops. Yeah, nobody's assigned there, but like he's the only one assigned to the constructions that he's assigned to, if that makes sense. So it's not like he's waiting on some other truck from over here, as far as I know, if that makes sense. Like, so in other words, like, well, maybe they're not doing anything because other guys are assigned, but look, nobody else is assigned to that, right? Like, it's not like he's waiting on another construction office to do something. So I really have no idea. All right, well, enough about that. But I was going to say, I was actually kind of, getting our mechanical components going looked like it was going to be the next thing to get done where we can start firing this up, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that guy. There's no traffic jams. I don't understand. So I'll try to work on it in between the episodes. Look on Steam. Maybe it's a common thing, and Steam discussions. See if that comes in. Now this guy again, I think the problem over here where we're not getting a lot done is just there's all these little tiny roads he's auto finding, and sometimes this is why I don't like to auto find things, is because they don't auto find things in a very smart order. So what you end up with is these trucks just sitting here doing nothing because they're all jammed up. Now I could assign them to work on some more. Oh, that one's not attached, but it's like they're just waiting on buses for people to come in here because it's like all the materials are loaded. It would almost be worth like putting an extra bus, but we already have two, so it's just taking a while. And then my overall plan is to have these two guys help join in the fun, which especially this guy who has some more buses, but they've been working over in Nueve Revergrad there. But I think now we're probably getting close enough in Nueve Revergrad that we can come up here and start prioritizing, and maybe, I definitely want to get to these train stations so we can finish up our rails. And after that, that'll be enough for the moment. If I can just prioritize sending a few more people out there, that would be great. And then we'll just let things roll for the moment. But for those of you who don't know what this is, we have an oil field. So we have oil that can be pumped over to our new chemical area. We probably have to there it is, Chemical Zavad. Might want to move the name up here. But this is a bunch of chemical plants. I'm almost forgetting how many. It's actually not as many as you would think. It's amazing how much space you take up in this game for different things. But what we have here is 6 chemical plants. It's pretty much a mirrored image where the various supplies they need will come into the middle besides the oil. Well, the oil will come into the middle too, but the oil will come from here, pumped directly. And then this is like a place for the stone we need. We have a place for, crops. And then we have a place for the wood. So this will all come into here, and then these will all be supplied by various trucks, right? Whether it's dumpers or whatever. So by each one of these, we have a road cargo station, and then we have the stone will be pumped directly in. There's like an oil line you can see, and there's conveyors that go right on in there. So this should be, and then the trucks coming out can go and drop off to this station, where the chemicals can be taken up to our plastics factory, which needs chemicals. And then this is where our outgoing chemicals would be. And then the plastic factory also needs oil, so the oil would come from there. And this will just be two plastics factories plus, this is where the chemicals will come in to this warehouse here. And then this has got these both with a big convoluted bridge across here. This is a mess in here. But these will have a factory connection for the chemicals, and then they'll have a factory connection for the plastic going out. And then the oil will get pumped in. And then on the other side of things, now keep in mind, these aren't direct. This train station is not directly tied to the factory. So this is going to be done by truck. So we can balance out the trucks to also take chemicals to this warehouse, which would be for a chemical train that could export stuff from this area to the rest of the world and to the rest of our nation. Does that make sense? So and then this is a loop here for passengers that come up over this way, cross underneath of this bridge. So this is our chemicals line right here. And then we have this passenger line that comes in, ties into this station where I can pick up people. And in addition, we'll also have the passenger loop comes up here, and it also goes down, of course, to this other side of the chemicals. So there we go. So that's our chemical area. And then, believe it or not, it doesn't look like a huge town, but this should actually be pretty close to enough people to do all of this, because when you get down to it, these chemical, it's not really that many. All of this stuff doesn't need workers. And between the chemical and the plastics factory, we don't really have that many need for people. So hopefully this will be more than enough. And then when it comes over here, we don't need any for the oil field. So yeah, that's our big chemical plastics area improvement. And a lot of that is so that if we come over here to Energinisk, see, like we just had this lonely plastic station that I shoved over here because that's where our oil was. So we will be able to get rid of this. And earlier I showed you the mechanical components, and this is our current mechanical components. I think I'm going to get rid of this one as well. And the reason I'm going to get rid of this one is just because it really causes problems here. Now we haven't had as many problems because we've got improvements to our tracks, but I'd like to clear this up and make these a little bit more reliable where trains don't have to cross, and I kind of need this space to swing the train around a little bit better. You can see we have old train construction stuff from many moons ago that we still haven't done. And then you can see where some more of our power lines tie in. When we got rid of this power plant that used to be by Energinisk, and we now just have a transformer, so you can see we have another line that ties in here. I don't want to tie this in because this is actually producing power, so I just want to kind of hold off until those power plants are ready to go. But we've got the polluting mess out of the way, and we should be good to go over here. Now the problem that we have over here is I do want to decide on something more to do here, because we have an awful lot of people and we really won't have that much to do. Now, one of the things I had thought of is, well, we could really up this steel mill. There's no reason not to keep this steel mill. I think it's far enough away that it's not going to ever pollute anything. So maybe we could, and I've thought about this before, as part of getting rid of this, I've thought of like trying to get like a tram line or something over into here, but you can imagine like the way I might do that, and with all the mess that's already in this area, because like, here's our steel mill. We kind of have to be able to go around this way to some degree, especially if we want to get them up to our coal mine and our iron mines here. So it would be nice to have this space to be able to kind of rework this whole area. But that's sort of like one of the future improvements, which maybe we can spend a few minutes talking about a couple of the things on the list. So there we go. There's like a future down the road improvement as we get time and things start slowing down. We just want to sort of fine tune the map before we call it quits. So yeah, other future will be to just improve this electrical as a general statement. I already went ahead and now they keep doing this. I keep trying to assign a different waypoint here and they don't seem to follow it. I can't imagine they didn't leave yet. You know what? We haven't produced anything over here. And it's because we're getting no people. Right? Are you not? Oh, there they go. Or is it just because the last times I looked, and they have fabric here? Yeah. So are you putting out now? Building is without power supply. So I messed up. Okay, you have power there. Oh, did something burn down? Oh, good Lord. And I don't have a construction guy anywhere near here. This is a pain. All right, well, we're just going to purchase this, I think, just to get it going again. Okay, well, you know what? I came down here and I looked and I reset the waypoints. And all right, so let's go. So we're going to have to delete those back a little bit. And probably want to delete a little bit of the road back. And then I think I have to delete that back. No, not high voltage switch, high voltage transformer. So, yeah, let's, I think, like that, right? So is this just out of range of the fire companies? That's like the next question. Let's get the big line. All right, and then we'll commit to that. And we'll just purchase it. Purchase it. We're not going to make it. You don't like that either. And last but not least, that. Now, I don't want to accidentally purchase things from around the map, so I'm just going to do this the painful way. There we go. So do you have power now? Yes, I see smoke and I see fire. Geez. So what is going on? Is there... Okay, something's definitely wrong. And you know what? I'm just going to pause this. Something's definitely wrong. Because we had fire trucks in here. How else do you get 11 firefighters? So there's some kind of a bug going on, is what I would have to say, with the fire trucks. I don't know, did they get rid of the fire trucks or something? We should have probably got these. Yeah, that's fine. Well, yeah, you know what? I need to go check. Here, you know what? We're going to pause for a second because I don't want anything. I don't want any more stuff load down. Let's go to lists. List of buildings. All map. Are all of my fire trucks gone? Fire station. No. But I'm wondering. Well, let's see. We should have vehicles. Say 0. So why did these... Okay, that's under construction. Man, I would swear to you I had fire trucks in here. Let's get the... Just for now. Just like an emergency kind of thing. All right. I mean, I'm not trying to fix every problem in the world, but... So this one... Well, this one's new, so... Yeah, let's just see. Okay, page 1 of 1. Yeah, and that one's not done being built yet. So let's go up to Monte Corba. I probably should have clicked on that, right? Now, do we have any more fire trucks here? We got a bunch in here. Did I not put fire trucks in? So let's see. So we do have Monte Corba. There it is. Yeah, see, this one I don't think I ever would have... I never assigned anybody to this one. And we probably don't have any bus going to this one either. And I would think we probably need 2 buses, at least temporarily, which I usually have been putting some buses over here. We have little baby buses? No. But I think I might have little baby buses over here. Yes. All right, so we'll give these guys both the same. Where I'm at, Plaster City. Yeah, I'm not sure how well. Oh, that's right. I need to send them over this way. All right, well, I'll try to remember. I'll try to remember to take care of that later. All right, well, there we go. Well, see, we're finding problems, and I can do this all day. I hope you guys don't mind me fixing these things during our Saturday summary, but yeah, so maybe I never put them in there. Maybe you guys know. Probably should have just sent some fire trucks here, but I don't know. Yeah, so let's see. So it seems like those are the only ones that were missing, and we'll get them in. So really haven't done too much more in Old Revergrad recently. Things seem to be going pretty well. We've upgraded a while ago now our cows, and we're certainly using more. So I think we're producing enough meat the last time I looked. So, but other than that, people seem to be pretty happy. Building is on fire. Okay, let's go pay attention to this. Make sure it's not on Energinisk. So do we have a firehouse here? Yeah, right there. It has fire trucks in it. Yeah, I don't know. I love to blame things on the game, though it's probably not the game's fault. Yeah, Kameen, for a while we were running out of gravel, and we were stressing our panels. And by the way, when I said earlier, I don't know if I told you we were like low on panels. It's not that we're not making enough. We could possibly use another train, but it's just sort of a surge in the number of panels we're using too. So hopefully, I may not do anything about that. In other words, because I think it's just the fact we're using so many in a short period of time. I may end up doing something to correct it, but came in here at some points, found we didn't have enough kindergartens, so we've built a bunch of more kindergartens. I'm hoping that helps. And also, while I was looking for kindergarten issues, some of these buildings didn't have power, so I think that was causing us a few problems with potential escapees. And when I built this kindergarten, it had no power, and I realized I forgot to hook up this substation. And at times we've been low on lumber. We could definitely, one of the future plans will be to put in some kind of a storage here. Like, say we can't make any more lumber, and if we had a storage yard here, I think that would, be a relatively low cost. The problem is there's not like a great place for it. Is that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like there's this wonderful place to just put a warehouse in, and I'm not sure if it will fit if I destroy all of this, so I've sort of been holding on a bit. Like, this sort of works because it shoots out this way, but the warehouse comes off in this direction, and I might not be able to get a road in there. So, I don't want it to turn into a massive project for that little thing. Not when we got so many other things going on. And then another thing to do is to improve this. This is pretty weak as far as being able to get a couple trains in here, and all of these trucks this is for our chemicals coming down into here. And it's just a little bit too much to expect one little warehouse. So and we have some room, but I'd have to move things around a bit. So it's a little bit more of a construction project that I want to get into, because it would tend to cut off our chemicals. And so I'm thinking, well, once this is built, then we can come down here and improve this, because we can export some chemicals from here, so at least we're not completely out of them at that point. So we're going to have a lot of chemical factories when it's all said and done. We got 6 over there, plus another 8 here. So that's going to be 14 chemical plants. We're going to be in really good shape with chemicals, I hope. So we'll be able to we haven't really ramped up our clothing production all the way over here, because I'm afraid to use up too many chemicals, plus power. So again, we have a new line running all the way down here with new power feeding pretty close to right into our clothing. And, if we still have any power issues after that, we can talk about how to fix them. Because remember, we'll also have this coal loop in the world, like, fully completed. So for those of you who played Factorio, the idea is this is like a coal bus, right? Where we'll be able to have coal on this line here. If I want to build a couple of power plants right here, we can. And that's kind of far away from people, but anywhere along this, and we could always extend the coal loop, maybe into Energinisk, right? We were just talking about what do we do with the extra people in Energinisk. There's no real point in putting in more oil. I mean, the oil field here is like maxed out, and this is already, generally speaking, has enough people to keep up with it. Now, I say that, of course, usually when I come over here, this is at 0, so there seems to be some little delay in getting people over there right this minute. But a lot of times this is just like full max outputting. And imagine we get rid of this. And what I'm thinking of is kind of flipping this around, just so you know. And I have an export here. And when I say export, not necessarily to take it off the map, but the reason for this is that if I start finding that we have way more, I'd like to get this filled up with the excess that we have over here. We could export some of it into the rest of the map, and I would by train take oil over here and drop it off in a station and increase the output of this factory. I hope that makes sense. So there we go. Well, I think that's a pretty good summary. Yeah, if anybody knows what's going on with this guy, I'm going to go read the forums and see if there's some kind of a bug. All the other ones are at least working mediocrely, I think. This guy only has one thing assigned. Yeah, that's good. Look, one thing assigned over here. Are we missing any buildings to be built? No, we've pretty much got that all done. Like I said, the holdup now is going to be getting that train line done. So I'll just keep an eye on that. But in the meantime, that's fine. This guy can start helping. Again, the critical things, I want to get the train stations in here built. Need to get the roads down to them. Yeah, I mean, we might as well, since the other guy doesn't seem to want to work on anything, yeah, that needs to get built into there, so it doesn't connect. Yeah, if anybody has any ideas about why that other guy's not working, and that means this guy, well, we already assigned him some stuff, but... Oh. Game safe. Yeah, we definitely want to get this and this worked on. Oh, look, we got that done. Wonderful. All right, that's already assigned to him. Yeah, we probably even start just sending them to help this guy complete some roads. So good. So in the next episode, we'll see how it goes. I might play some time forward and let this track get done. We'll kind of see what comes up on the list next. Sound good? If you guys have any suggestions, now's going to be a good time to let me know. I'm going to try to get ahead of the episodes a bit, just because I'm going to be going away a little bit for Christmas time. So if and I don't want to count on having like time to get the episodes like I'd normally do, a little bit closer. So if I don't react in the videos, you'll know why. But I'll try to respond to you on YouTube, and if I don't get back to you in a few days, good chance I'm out of town. So anyway, well, I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching, and have a good Saturday. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.